What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. Today, you're joining me in our 2025 Tesla Model Y long-range rear-wheel drive. Has about 6,000 miles on it. We've had it for about 6 months now, and we're going to be doing a battery health test, and we're actually going to be powering it off of my F-150 Lightning to do it. So if you've been around here for a while or you've been watching out-of-spec videos, you're probably familiar with the battery test that can be done on Tesla models. In the past, it's been hidden in the service menu, so you actually have to go into basically the hidden service menu, and then there was a battery health test in there, but not really accessible to normal consumers. But now, and my understanding is it's due to a California mandate, Tesla has actually moved that from the hidden service menu into the normal service tab of the settings, like car controls menu. And now anyone can do it. It's public facing, and it actually has some pretty cool app integrations, like it shows you the live status of the test. But in short, what the test does is it drains the vehicle all the way down to 0% by burning off the energy. So you want to start the test as low as possible. I believe it now requires you to be under 20% starting, whereas in the past, I believe you could be at any state of charge. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, you start as low as you can. The battery or the vehicle drains the battery down by burning off the excess energy by running the motor install, and basically just rejecting the heat out the outside of the vehicle. And then from 0%, it charges it all the way up to 100% on an AC charger. So you have to be plugged into an AC power source, basically over 5 kilowatts. And then it uses that data to see how healthy the battery is and the capacity. I've been seeing a lot of results from people on Twitter X with fairly low miles and fairly new vehicles having pretty poor results, which is surprising. I mean, I've seen some with 20, 30,000 miles that were showing 87% health or 88% health, which seems really wild to me. So I'm curious to do the test on this car with 6,000 miles on it and being less than a year old. This car was a demo car, so it was put into service in October of 2024. It's now mid-May 2025. We bought it at the end of December 2025, or 2024. So we've had it about 6 months. It's been in service about, I don't know, 8 months or so. So let me show you the procedure here, and then we'll actually hook it up to my F-150 Lightning, and then that will be powering it since I don't have home charging here yet. But I do have that in motion. Maybe more to come on that in the future. So let me flip the camera around and show you on the car screen. So here we have the car screen. We're at 5% state of charge. I drove it down pretty low today. That way it doesn't have to burn off that much energy. I tried to get it as low as I could, but that was as low as I could reasonably get it with the errands that we needed to run. But we're now in the settings menu. We'll go into service. We'll scroll down, or let me just show you the software version and stuff here first. So we'll go into software. So we are on 2025.14.3.1, which is the 2025 spring update, as Tesla called it. We have FSD4 computer. We have 6,100 miles, as I mentioned. Nothing else here really should matter. We'll go into service. So there's the service menu. We'll scroll all the way down, and there's this new battery health option. So we'll hit battery health test. So here we go, up to 19 hours. I've seen other people say up to 15 hours. So I wonder if that is a function of being at 5%, or because we have the newer, bigger battery, the 82 kilowatt hour or so. So let me plug in. I'll show you guys the setup there. But I also have RWD monitoring on the Lightning as well. So we can see that we have 118 kilowatt hour on the Lightning right now. We're going to actually have to leave it on during the whole test. So I'll note the starting energy and then the ending energy, and that will be pretty interesting as well. And something I do want to point out here. So I tried running this test at a hotel, actually, when we were on a little bit of a road trip. But this note here, third-party and pay-per-use AC charging equipment may cause test failures or produce unexpected results. And I actually did experience that when I used a Juicebox level 2 charger at a hotel, because they had the two units at that hotel somewhat paired. So when the other unit had a vehicle unplug, it actually interrupted just for a brief moment my session, which caused the test to fail, which was pretty unfortunate because it meant that I'd started the day without a full charge. I did it the night before we were departing from the hotel, so I would definitely pay attention to that caveat that Tesla gives there. Try to use a home wall connector or mobile connector, just that way it stays powered the whole time. And then also, if you have a time of use rate that kills the power after or outside of the time of use session, so I know a lot of people in Minnesota have that, for example, then that could be a little bit wonky as well to time it to be within that window. So let's get plugged in. So as I mentioned, we have the Tesla mobile connector here, and then it's just set right here for right now. So we'll plug it in. You can see it's powered because the button to plug it in here worked. I just washed it. That's why it's wet in there. So we're blue and now we're red. That's weird. Why are we red? Oh, or is that just charging stopped due to the battery test? It was trying to pull 32 amps. That's why. So it should restart here in just a second. But on the Pro Power onboard of the F-150 Lightning, it cannot do over 30 amps. You have to limit that. So let's see if that resets. We'll go back into battery health test. So it is not liking that, but it's also showing 2 volts here. So let me see if I need to reset Pro Power on the Lightning. So we're going to try this again with the included Ford mobile EVSE. An interesting note about this is that this box actually shows 32 amps max on the back here. We've got the little wall mount bracket on here. It shows 32 somewhere. Right there, max 32 amps. However, Ford actually made a specific version of the little 1450 whip, if you will, here, with this yellow band on it that's set to 30 amps instead of 32 amps. So that way you can use it with the Pro Power onboard, even on vehicles that don't have a way to set the current manually. So we're going to use this instead. Let me grab the J1772 adapter so we can use this, and then let's try that. So here we go. Let's try this instead. And this should only do 30 amps and only offer the vehicle 30 amps. So that looks more promising. So here we go. So let's do start test. And there we go. I just heard the cooling or the HVAC system run full bore. So it is now draining it down to 0% from 5%. You can see it's not drawing any power from the Lightning since we're still at 0.27 kilowatt. And let me pull up the Tesla app so you guys can see what that looks like. Well, I'll try and insert a screenshot anyway for you guys, but it's now going to drain it down, and if I catch it, I'll try to show once that switches to actually drawing power. But otherwise, I will see you guys in the morning. And it's interesting that it seems to not respect when you set the current limit manually on the screen to limit to less than whatever the cable is rated for. So I thought that was a pretty interesting note. I think a fair amount of people use that function even at home, so not ideal that doesn't seem to work, but maybe just a little bit of a bug since I don't think that many people use this function yet. So make sure you're using a EVSE that can output its full rated or offered current to the vehicle and that you're not having to manually derate it. Well, take two. The Ford mobile connector is a little bit wonky and it came with some corrosion on mine. So let's set the charge limit to 100. And then let's actually try this again. So we'll go to battery health. It seems to be respecting the 30 amps. Battery health test, start test, and it seems to be okay with it now. So we're using the Tesla mobile connector now, and hopefully this works. 18 hours remaining. Let's see if this sticks. It seems maybe the trick is let it ramp up to the limited current or set the limited current before plugging in, and then it will be okay. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to stick to the 30 amps that I've limited it to in the past at this location, which is my house that I've charged from the Lightning before. So I don't know what's going on there, but it seems to be working okay now. It actually faulted the Lightning Pro Power system, and I had to do a 12-volt reset to get it to function again. But here we have the data from the Lightning, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
The next morning.
Well, it's the next morning. We're about 3 hours after the test ended. It's about 11:30. I got the notification that the test ended about 8:30 this morning. But let's start in the Lightning. I'm going to show you guys the state of charge and the energy remaining on here, and then we'll head into the Model Y, and I'll show you guys the results in there and how it shows up. So here you can see we are at 23% state of charge, 63 miles remaining. Let's see what it's showing for efficiency, probably 0 miles per kilowatt hour. Or 0.5 over the last 105, and 0 for this trip, and it's been on for 17 hours. And then here you can see the energy remaining, 28.26 kilowatt hour. So it looks like we use about 90 kilowatt hours, so I believe it was about 118 yesterday when we started, which makes sense. It's about an 84 kilowatt hour battery, and then there's also the losses on the charging side. And just from having the truck fully on that entire time. I did have the climate off though, so worth noting that. But let's head into the Model Y and I'll show you guys the results. So before we get into the actual result, which I have on the screen right up there, let's talk about the usage of this vehicle. So we have 69% DC charging, 31% AC charging. And then this has been charged 2.28 megawatt hours. And here you can see the charging session that we did last night for the charging test. So we added we used 78.46 kilowatt hour. We added 74.56 kilowatt hour. And here you can see average of 7 kilowatt. And you can see how it kind of tapered down there, which is normal at the end of the charging session. Same with the current. This is a pretty gentle ramp down. And you can also see the very consistent voltage output of the Lightning, pretty much steady the whole time at 236 volts. 236 to 238 volts, which is very steady. You can also see the battery temperature there as well. So overall, good. And here we have the result, 95% battery health. So that means that this battery, according to the car, has degraded 5% in 6,000 miles, which, in my opinion, is pretty terrible. That is not good. Yes, the battery will degrade a bit initially, but for a vehicle with 6,000 miles, as you can see here, 6,100 miles, that's not good in my opinion. Here you can see what Tessie reports as the battery health. So it's reporting 99.21% battery health with less than 1% degradation. I'm almost more inclined to believe this than the actual built-in car test, but either way, 95% is not good. Anyway, would love to hear what you guys think. If you've run this on an even newer car, I'd love to hear some results from people with, I don't know, a couple hundred miles on it or right after delivery running this test. That would be very interesting to see if they do in fact report 100%, but it seems like the battery test results that people have been getting with the battery test built into the cars has been giving pretty bad results, which is surprising. If anything, I would think that Tesla would want to skew it a bit on the more positive side than on the more negative side, like it seems to be. But comment down below with your thoughts. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next one.